Right, so it is day 127 of my attempt to plant a tree every single day for 2023. I had intended to film the review today, that hasn't happened because I was out for longer than I intended to be, but let's get on with it. Right, so the justification for today's planting again comes in the review, which I have not yet filmed because I was out for longer than I anticipated, but a large part of that was getting plants from a friend's garden, which are free, and will involve a lot of things that are going in for this whole thing, so I'm feeling it's justified in this instance, but we are going to be planting this to the south and to the east of some larger trees. So to the north of today's planting is a line of quite large, sort of, I think, 5-year-old, 6-year-old Malina trees, and then just to the west of them is a nice big mango tree, which is good and mature, slightly smaller than the Malinas, but it should block off that afternoon, evening light. So we should be well sheltered throughout the dry season, and in fact, until I get around to coppicing these Malinas, which will be happening probably in the next 3 years, I suspect, based on the rate they're going up, this will get shelter even during the rainy season on the days that the sun is out, which is good because this does like to start in shelter. So today's tree is one of the species of Morus, which are the mulberries. I'm not entirely sure which one it is. I'm not even entirely sure when they fruit. I'm not very good at telling this genus apart. I will put what I think it is up on the screen, but I'm not convinced right now that I have it in my head. The mulberries are the type genus of the family Moraceae, which is the family that also includes the figs and the jackfruit. So again, I would say don't plant it too close to figs and jackfruit. Fortunately, this is an area where I haven't really planted either of those things. I did try planting some jackfruit in line with these Malinas quite a while ago, but it was just not ideal for them at the time. It was much too dry and the Malinas were not large enough to provide shade. Probably in the future there will be sufficient shade here that I will start thinking about jackfruit, but I will want something else between them and this tree, just to reduce disease transmission between the two, reduce pest transmission between the two, because generally speaking, family level, you want a barrier. Today's companion plants are going to be the very standard ones. We're going to go with a nice piece of Dracaena fragrans cut from just here, because we have some that went in as markers for these Malinas originally, which are somewhat beyond needing markers now, so I'm taking the longer stems off and just leaving the shorter stems, so it will come up again. I'll probably get a few more markers from that in the future. We'll see how long that carries on for. And then I'm going to be putting in the standard Aloe Cameroni, which is one of the native aloes, which forms a nice dense thicket around it, which form a nice sort of fireproof barrier, because this is in an area close to the front of the property, which you can probably tell from the sound of the traffic, which does mean that it is one of the areas that is more inclined to get fires come through. We haven't had one come through, I think, in the last 7, maybe 8 years, but when we do get fires, this is an area that they quite often get to. So then we are finally going to be putting in a piece of the Kalanchoe delegoensis, which is one of the Madagascan, formerly Embryophyllum, mother of millions Kalanchoes. This is pre-rooted. The aloes are actually ones that were cut a couple of days ago, so they shouldn't mind going in a little bit wet, because at this time of year with nights getting quite cold, it's not as cold as it will get, but it's still cold enough that it's not ideal for a lot of the succulents to go in with an open wound. So having an old wound or roots already, as has the Kalanchoe, is best. Right, so that should be everything for today. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you didn't enjoy it, thank you very much for watching anyway. Please tune in again tomorrow. I will be planting something different. Not entirely sure what yet. I do have a strong idea, but I'm not convinced that it would actually count as a tree, so I'm going to sort of try and come to a concrete definition of tree and work out whether it can be counted. So a while ago I showed you Menneus with her web damaged, and this is what she should look like. So you can see that wonderful little net-like web there just held in front of her, and there she is, just suspended on a thread over a path where she thinks it's likely that something's going to come walking along, and she can just shoot down and stretch her little web out over her prey. So beautiful little creature. You can see why she's called a humpbacked net casting spider as well, because you've got that little hump on her abdomen there. But yeah, beautiful little creature, and one of the net casting spiders, Menneus, there.